And there's this idea of native advertising, which I mean, just a comment from anyone up here around. Do we see more and more of that? I assume we all think there's going to be more and more of the native advertising.
I think that native advertising, we used to call it advertorial.
Yes.
So it's not new.
It's just got a sexy new title.
Well, and we're monetising it probably more directly now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also more demand for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's more demand.
when I'm saying, a bank might have 20 websites, each company's got multiple engagement points with their audience, and they need this content for it. Now, I mean, people, there's always the argument around what this does to your journalism. Right now, our journalism is absolutely, and the independence of our journalism is absolutely at the centre of what we do, because it creates our audience. And if we break down the credibility of that, we can't create the audience.
No.
We can't. I mean, they'll go elsewhere. So that's absolutely inviolable to us. But that doesn't mean that you cannot create third-party content.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't mean you can't. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be asking an investigative journalism to do a nice piece on a bank.
No.
I mean, I don't think they could cope. But I mean,
but you'll get another journalist to do the native advertising for the bank.
And nor should they. But there is plenty of high quality content that can be generated, even brought into the organisation on a variable cost basis to be able to do that. And if that's what the market wants, that's what the market needs, and those funds circle back into the business to sustain that core journalism. And so therefore, while there might be a debate around this, people have to fully understand that in the future, you're not going to have two revenue streams into our core businesses. You're going to have multiple revenue streams, and the job of the organisation is to create those, and content marketing and native advertising will be one.
Julian.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. The only thing I would add to it is that I think any marketer knows that the sweet spot in the racket for them is where their product is positioned in the right context. Now, we as publishers have been doing this with our sections forever. Travel section, finance, whatever it is. So an advertiser chooses to be in there because A, they know the audience is interested in the subject itself, and it gives them an environment in which to project their own whatever they've got to market.
Yeah.
The trick for us, though, is in creating the context is not to in any way damage the efficacy of the brand, of our brand itself.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting tension, and like everything else in mankind's endeavours, you work your way through it.
Yeah.
But trust is at the base of all of this for readers.
Yeah.
If we don't have, as Greg said, if we lose trust with our readers, everything's gone. And in fact, the advertiser will be the first to leave you anyhow.
Indeed. Michael, I'm just wondering whether I'm still on native advertising. Do you think that the advertisers are going to start to more heavily scrutinise the ROI on it?
I think they scrutinise all ROI.
Yeah.
It's not native is any different, and that hey, there's definitely a trend. And to Chris's point, call it advertorials, call it product placement. It's been around for a very long time, and this is the name that we're giving it in a more digital environment. I think there's a key difference, though, that and a learning for ourselves, that often that content was given maybe to the least experienced, and not the best people within our business. And what we're seeing competitively is that native advertising is going to people who are top of their game. And I think that's the learning for us, is that as we get not into just native advertising, but more custom publishing, event content, that we need to have our best people working at that. The ROI really comes back down to what's the objective of the campaign. I don't need to tell you that, but that's, I think, where everything's measurable these days, and native will have to be measured against whether it be brand awareness, be it retail sales, and any other metric that the campaign is trying to achieve.